Did you know that according to a recent survey, about 70% of American adults who are single want to be in a relationship? If you're an INFJ man, chances are you're one of these people. That's because INFJ men have a particularly hard time finding love, yet the irony is that they want love more than anything. Why do they have such difficulty with this? Well, today on Charisma, we're going to look at 10 reasons INFJ men struggle to find love. Number 1, he's stubborn. One of the greatest strengths of INFJ men is their intuition. However, this is a double-edged sword, as it can also present as one of their weaknesses. Let me explain. INFJ men have strong intuition that is usually quite accurate. However, the fact that his intuition is right so much of the time means that he frequently disregards the viewpoints of others in favor of his own. This can manifest as stubbornness and an inability to trust the opinions of others. As you can imagine, this has the potential to present huge problems when it comes to dating and relationships. Instead of learning to listen to his partner, an INFJ man may have the tendency to believe that he's always right. Of course, this stubbornness rarely leads to a long-lasting relationship and can cause an INFJ man to struggle to find love. Number 2, he has a hard time opening up. One of the ironies of INFJ men is that they are great listeners and are highly empathetic. Yet, they struggle to open up and share their own thoughts and feelings with others. This can make it particularly challenging for them when they're looking for love, as they aren't fully able to participate in the emotional intimacy required by relationships. An INFJ man's tendency to be private can also have other repercussions. For instance, when he's afraid to open up emotionally, it can seem like he's hiding something from his partner. His partner may then grow distrustful of him, leading to the relationship falling apart. Number 3, he's a perfectionist. If you've ever collaborated with an INFJ man on a group project, you probably discovered that he's a perfectionist with incredibly high standards. These standards extend to his relationships as well. An INFJ man has big expectations for both himself and others in a relationship. And while this isn't necessarily a bad thing, it can become a problem when the expectations are unrealistic. In this case, an INFJ man might find himself unable to ever be in a relationship because he isn't able to find someone who's good enough for him or meets his unrealistically high standards. Another thing that might happen is that the INFJ man might scare off the person he's dating when it becomes clear that his requirements for a relationship are unreasonably high. Out of fear that they may not be able to live up to these expectations, a potential partner may run away from an INFJ man before things get too serious. Number 4, he disappears. INFJ men have a tendency to just disappear. When overwhelmed, he may vanish into his inner world and thoughts and shut down from those around him. This could happen simply because he's burnt out on social engagements, stressed at work, or anxious about other aspects of life. Over time, this can also take a toll on an INFJ man's romantic relationships. When he's overwhelmed, an INFJ man may just stay home and shut down instead of opening up about his difficulties to his partner. While this is just his way of coping, it may not be clear to others. Instead, to them, it may seem like he's avoiding them or even ghosting them. Because of this, he may struggle to maintain relationships when he's going through periods of stress. Number 5, he's an idealist. INFJs are idealists. They see the best in others and believe that a perfect vision of the world is possible. They are also idealists when it comes to dating and finding love. INFJs not only believe that they have a soulmate, but believe that they will eventually find that person. This can become problematic though when INFJs become so obsessed with the idea of finding their soulmate that they give up on people too soon. They become enamored with the idea of certain combinations of qualities that their ideal partner must have, instead of being open to someone who may not check all of the boxes they believe are necessary. As a result, an INFJ man can become dismissive of certain people before he gets to know them because he believes that they don't match the image of who his soulmate should be. Number 6, he thinks big. If you've ever been around an INFJ man before, or maybe you're one yourself, you probably noticed that their eyes rolled in the back of their head when they were involved in small talk. Okay, I am exaggerating. Well, only a little bit. But the truth is that INFJ men disdain small talk and prefer to talk about big things in life, things like philosophy, how to help humanity, and even the meaning of life. However, as you're probably aware, most people are not like this. This makes an INFJ man a bit of an anomaly, and he can struggle to find others who think like him too. This can have one of two results. One, it can cause him to have difficulty finding someone who he can relate to and speak openly with, and he stays single. Or two, his difficulty connecting with others might mean that he tries to shut off this part of himself in an effort to find love. In the long run, this is rarely successful though, as it causes him to try to be someone he's not. Number 7, he doesn't go out. INFJ men are incredibly introverted. Despite what lots of people think, this doesn't necessarily mean that they're shy. Instead, it means that an INFJ man needs plenty of time by himself to recoup his energy levels, as his energy is expended by being around others. As you can imagine, dating can be a huge drain on an INFJ man. This is the case even if he's dating someone he truly enjoys spending time with. That's because being around anyone, no matter how nurturing the relationship, is a big energy expenditure and can be tiring for him. Because it takes a lot of energy to put himself out there in the world, an INFJ man may simply not be able to invest as much time as other, more extroverted types do in the world of dating. As a result, an INFJ man may struggle to find love because his energy levels are so quickly sapped. Number 8, he's future-focused. One of the INFJ man's strengths is that he's future-oriented. This means that he has the ability to set goals and then go out and achieve them. While this is a great quality, it can become problematic in relationships when it's not used properly. For instance, in a new relationship, an INFJ man might evaluate things in terms of the future and what he wants it to be instead of working to improve the relationship's present state. Or he might be so focused on hitting future relationship benchmarks that he ignores the work that it takes to get there. Number 9, he hates conflict. Conflict is inevitable in any relationship, and it's important for both partners to know how to deal with it. With the right tools, conflict can actually be a good thing, as it leads to growth and a better understanding of one another and the relationship as a whole. However, INFJ men have a hard time dealing with conflict, and this can hurt their chances at finding love. Because of their strong extroverted feeling trait, which controls things like cooperation and stability, INFJ men are conflict-averse. When they encounter disagreements, they try to smooth things over and keep the peace, even if the resolution is not mutually beneficial. By avoiding conflict and trying to resolve arguments as quickly as possible, INFJ men may actually end up hurting their relationships. Number 10, he has low self-esteem. INFJ men spend their entire lives feeling like they're different from other people. And as the arguably rarest personality type, they are. In fact, INFJ men are thought to make up a mere 0.5 to 1% of the population. But rather than celebrating their differences, INFJ men can sometimes find themselves feeling down, and too often, this results in them suffering from low self-esteem. This low self-esteem might originate from childhood, when they first realized they had different interests and responses to the world than other kids. Or it can occur later on as an adult too. This can take a toll on his relationships, and especially his romantic relationships. For instance, an INFJ man may have a crush on someone but not feel confident enough to ask them out. Or, even if he does muster up the strength to ask his crush out on a date, an INFJ man may not project confidence and not come across as interested in the other person. Ultimately, this can make it difficult for an INFJ man to find love, and especially love that lasts. What about why INFJ men have no friends? Watch this video to learn about that.